Did you see that? Season 7, episode 14 of the Haves and the Have-Nots. I tell you, it wasn't as exciting to me as the previews there said, but it still was good. It was good enough to tell you that I have 2 sheroes in this episode. One have and the other one haves not. Catherine and Hannah. Oh my goodness, those 2 went in on this season and showed that they are strong women. Very strong women. Hold on 1 minute because I need a drink before I start, honey. Because this episode, these women were getting it in and I was enjoying it. So it starts off with Hannah, and she's at the crier's house, and she sees they take her in to see Derek, and Derek is standing there, and he's like, Hannah, tell him who I am. And she's looking at him because, you know, she's been avoiding him all this time. She hasn't seen him since she told him to leave her house, when she realized he's the man who raped her. He's Candace's daddy, her baby's daddy. Yes, she is. And so he's going, Jim Cryer sent me to fix the door. Hannah, tell him. She's like, dead stone face. I don't know if this man spoke to Jim Cryer or not. He's like, what are you saying? Are you calling me a liar? She said, do you really want to talk about who you are? And that shut Derek up real quick. But then the police officer came in and said they confirmed with Jim Cryer so that he's good and take the cuffs off. My thing is, why are they so quick to put cuffs on a black man? He had to come after they got there, because if Derek showed up before the police, what kind of response time is happening in their town? Tell me, what kind of response time? Because Wyatt went and did a whole wardrobe change and stole jewelry and everything and stole a car and left before they got there. Anyway, so Hannah goes upstairs. She looks in the drawer. She don't know every piece of jewelry that, you know, Catherine had, but she knew there was more than that. She knew the car keys was missing, so he's obviously stole a car. But the way she said it seemed like they stole Catherine's car. But then when Jim was talking about it, he said he stole my car. So maybe he's considering, you know, his and Catherine the same car. I don't know. Anyway, she gave the police officer a list of what she thinks is missing and stuff. And she tells him, he asks him to walk her to a car because she don't want to run into Derek. She don't want to see that fool. So when he walks with her to the porch, they don't see Derek, so she goes to a car, and you hear somebody yelling, Hannah, Hannah, and it's David. And he's calling her name. He's like, I know you hear me, Hannah. And she's like, and then you see I'm ignoring you. And he's just like, I just want to know what happened. And she tells him, none of your business. And he says, it is my business because they my friends. You know, Jim asked me to find out. He said, you might work for Catherine, but you do have to answer to Jim too. She said, I ain't got to answer to him or you. She let it be known. I don't answer to none y'all. She only know Catherine, and I ain't mad at her. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh, Hannah is getting it in. When she get this power that Catherine about to give her, she might just change on you. I hope that power don't get to her and she get ugly. Lord, don't let Hannah change. Lord, let the Lord stay on her side. Oh my gosh. So she tells him to just go ask the police if you want to know what happened. He said, they won't tell me now. She's like, oh, well, you know. But he said, well, you got to tell Jim. You got to call Jim and let him know. She said, I ain't got to tell him a damn thing. And I was like, he tried to have her son killed. She don't have no allegiance to that fool, and I ain't mad at her for it. Anyway, then, they start talking about Candace and Benny. And Benny, you know, he lets Candace into the apartment. And she'd been sitting out there all that time waiting on the steps. And she wanted to hurry up and get her stuff before her mother show up. And it was too late because Hannah came in there. And she said, what y'all still doing here? And she telling them to get out. And Benny trying to be tough. And, you know, Candace is like, I'm getting my stuff. I'm going to be out. And Benny's like, nah, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. You going to tell me who this is. And he's like, she's like, what? And he's like, who this? Who this? And she's like, I don't know what you told me. Boy, she said, I'm going to call the police. If you think I'm not going to call that police and have you dragged out the way y'all had me dragged out of that bar. Oh, Ma, was for your own good. She said, what you know about my... She said, you sound like your sister. What you know about what's for somebody's own good? She said, them people been good to you. Catherine been good to you. And you just going to steal her money. I'm calling the cops. She said, well, her son did hit me. She said, oh, So you gonna get your payday? So, you know, Hannah was pissed. She called the cops, and that's when Benny goes, is this your, did he rape you? Did Derek rape you? And Hannah froze like, what? And you know what went through her head. She think it was Candace that said something, but, you know, she said, is that what you told him? Is that what he said? Oh, so this is true? She said, no, Ma. No, I did not. And she in code was trying to tell her. She said, well, where he coming with this? And she said, we have in our generation this thing called the internet, where people can look up stuff. And Hannah's like, what are you doing on the internet looking up stuff about me? He said, because I want to know why you were upset and why you don't want to talk to this dude no more, and blah, 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 blah. I was like, Hannah was like, boy, please, get out of my face. I ain't got nothing to say to you. She said, he said, so he did do it. She said, I ain't say that. And she said, Mama, I told him that's not the guy. You know, so he got mad. Benny got mad and walked out and left. Hannah told him, where you going? Where you care where he going? You told him to be out. What he should have did is left his damn key and took luggage with him. That's what she should have made sure he did. But anyway, she goes over to Candace. This all your fault. This all your fault, Candace. You know Candace gonna get blamed for it because it kind of is her fault. And she was like, after all we've been through, after all we've been, she said, I thought you would do the right thing, baby. I thought you'd do the right things. All my hopes and prayers, we was getting on the right track. I was really, she said, but Mama, this is millions. She said, but it's not your millions. She said, it is now. I said, ooh. Candace cold-blooded. She like, it's my money now. She couldn't help it. She was being honest with who she is. And she's like, just get your stuff and get out my house. And Candace was like, okay. And then you still got Uncle Vinny at the precinct trying to get his mother out of jail. And he's still ignoring the body being rolled out. It ain't in a bag. It's being rolled out on a gurney. How that man is still alive, being shot in the head, I have no idea. But the police officer, you know, goes in the back and he tells Mama Rose that her sons were there and stuff. And she said, I thought so. She goes, what happened to the officer that arrested me? He said, oh, he tried to commit suicide. I said, oh, Lord. She said, oh, that's so sad. That's terrible. And so she asks him, you know, he said, we're going to get you out as soon as possible. We got to ask the chief. She said, you haven't spoken to the chief yet? He said, no. She said, why not? He's like, he gets upset when we bother him on his day off or he's off duty. She said, he wouldn't be upset if he knew it was about me. She said, I suggest you call him and call him now. She said, and then tell him I asked about his daughter, Ashley, and how she's doing in college. And he said, I'll do that. I'll do that. And so when he left, here goes Catherine. Can't mind her business. Catherine opened her mouth and go, oh, is that what you do? You threaten and bully people? And she said, yes, but I'm better at it than you. And Catherine is like, huh, yeah, I am very resourceful. And you'll find that out once I get out of this prison, out of this jail. And she said, you ain't gonna never get out of this jail. And then she said, how's your daughter? She said something about Wyatt, and then she said something about her daughter, Amanda. She said, isn't she the one that killed herself? And you know, Catherine froze up. Catherine was like, I know this biatch is not talking about my daughter. You know, mother and a child. Women and mothers and a child, you can't mess with them. And she kept her cool and stuff. And she was like, she just let her know that nothing happened to my son. That's it. And Mama Rose was like, what? What you gonna do? She said, wouldn't it be nice if you think about you getting out of here, but you ain't getting out of here? Wouldn't it be nice if you had to share a jail cell with one of that little Castillo girls, you know, family members? How you think they would feel? You know, because she said, don't be threatening me. Don't be threatening me. She said, I may be behind bars, but I have a very far reach. And she said, well, then you need to be reaching for some keys to get out. And Catherine said, you better not mess with my son. She said, if something happens to my son, that will be the end of your reign. And she said, well, at least you know I reign. And Catherine was like, well, don't forget who's the queen. And she was like, well, I'm the one sitting on the throne. I mean, they were going back and forth, throwing blows. I was like, whoa. So I know I'm jumping all around the place, but I just want to get in all the details. And then there's Sandy. He goes into the iron bar, his little wussy self. he couldn't take it, what happened with the man being shot. He never saw it before. You know, he's telling Mitch what happened. Mitch is like, what? Uncle Vinny got arrested? Nah, he didn't. He said, see, this is what happens. You want to run with the family. You want to run with that Malone name. And this stuff like this happens all the time. So you're going to have to deal with that bloodshed, not just the name. You got to deal with everything that comes with it. And Sandy was like, yo, this is too much, you know. And then next thing you know, Benny shows up at the Iron Bone. What is it? The Iron Bone, whatever. He shows up there, and he's talking to Derek, and oh Lord, he's talking to Mitch about Derek and wanting to know. And Mitch is trying to tell him, this guy, he's showing him on the phone, this guy is who it is. It's the different Derek. They got him mixed up the information. He said, how you know? It's like late at night. It's like, how you know? And he said, look, I got family in the records department, you know. He said, but it's that night. How they get in there? He said, I don't know how they do it. He said she got a connection some kind of way, and that's how she got it. They accidentally switched those guys' information. And Benny's like, oh, okay, good looking out, man, because I really was going to mess that dude up. And he said, yo, you better probably get out of here because my Uncle Vinny going to be coming back soon. He said, yeah, I got it. You know, he said, but thanks, good for looking out. You know, we get together later. And that's when Uncle Vinny and Mama Rose walk in. So Uncle Vinny, Mama Rose walk in, and Benny jets, you know. And he says, you know, the hi grandma and all that stuff, they hugging, and she's asking him if he gonna come into the family, and he said no. So she said, then you need to you know, leave because we got family business to discuss. And then when he's leaving, you know, the damn Sandy yells out, don't be bringing that black guy with you no more, the blacks with you. And he was like, you better watch your mouth in front of grandma, you racist bastard, or something like that, he said. And I said, oh snap. But I guess that means that maybe Mama Rose is not racist, but maybe it's Uncle Vinny and Sandy, you know, because Uncle Vinny seemed to be training Sandy. So I don't know. Maybe that's his cousin. Maybe that's Uncle Vinny's son. I don't know. And then what else happened? So she asked him to leave, and then she asked Sandy what happened, why he left the precinct. And Sandy was like, nah, I had to take care of the prison, the bar. And Uncle Vinny's like, he punked out. He punked out and couldn't take it. She said, oh, you couldn't take it. He said, Uncle Vinny did the right thing, and he took care of business. You can't have them disrespecting the family. So, and she said, I'm getting tired now. She said, I'm really tired. I think I'm gonna go retire in Florida with your uncle, you know. And she said, I think you proved today that you're able to, you know, handle the business and run it on your own and stuff. And so she's handing it over to him, the reins over to him. And he was like really, you know, happy and stuff like that. And she told him, take me home. But she said, before he told, she said, let me, what did she say? About Catherine Cryer and that $50,000 versus the $75,000, and then that she asked for $1 million to keep his son, keep his son from being killed. And so she told him, find her son, hold on to him until you get the $1 million, like that. Oh, so we told him, when we gave him 24 hours, and he's like, okay, cool. So then, let's see, they showed, who else? They showed Justin outside Madison's door. Oh my God, and Jeffrey walking up, and he's like, Jeffrey's like, what the hell are you doing here? And Justin's like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, I'm coming to see my man. I said, ooh, you better claim your boo. Claim your boo-boo. And he said, yeah, I'm coming to see my man. And he said, oh, that's what he is? You just gonna leave me like that now? You know, Justin said, my brother is threatening to beat me up and with my other brothers and stuff. And Jeff keeps telling Justin that he needs to get some help. And Jeffrey goes into the apartment. You know, Madison opens the door and Jeffrey goes into the apartment. And Justin is grabbing his arm, trying to keep him and stuff. I was like, he's like, no, get off of me, get off of me. And, you know, he goes inside. But I think Justin has real issue because, you know, he used to be a police officer. So, you know, police officers, they need to take these tests. They need a better test for them because something's psychologically wrong with him. And he had a license to kill. That's not good. Okay? He pulls out a gun every chance he gets. And I think he really needs somebody. And he's trying now towards Madison as well. So I hope Madison don't fall for that. Anyway, so Jeff and Madison go inside. They feeling bad for him, you know, in their own different ways. And Jeffrey's like, you really gonna leave him out there? And he's like, yeah, he ain't coming to my house. Shoot. So he's like, Jeffrey has to stay on the couch, and he's like, no, you can stay in the bed with me. You know, he said, you know, you got to get up early for work. You know, all that stuff. So they did that. Then David and Jim are talking. You know, Jim is thanking David for all the help he always gives him and stuff, like about their friendship. And he said, you know, I know I could be an ass sometimes. He said, yeah. He said, there's not a month go by that I don't think about it at least once. And he said, that's it? Only once? He said, I said at least once. He said, I don't understand it either. You know, but David do jump every time Jim Cryer calls. He jumps. It's so freaking ridiculous the way he is with him. You know, so he tells him that Hannah was there at the house and he wasn't able to find out any information. So Jim said, what did Hannah say? And he said Hannah wouldn't tell him anything and stuff. He said, you know, she could be a bit of a bitch, but she's a nice woman until she's pushed. Until she's pushed like us. And Jim is disagreeing, you know, that, but it's the truth. Hannah is a nice person until they mess with her and her kids. And that's with most mothers, you know. Anyway, he asks David to do one more thing, and that's to go and look for Wyatt. But he said, so Jim said, David said he would do it that night, and he said, no, do it in the morning. He said if he stole jewelry and stuff, he can't. The pawn shops don't open till 10. You could get in there, then he could, and we'll do it because he took my car and I can have it tracked. And he said, are you sure? They're like, yeah, and that was that. Then there's Veronica having her dream. Veronica had the dream. Yeah, I knew it had to be a dream because she was her and David was like, I'm so sorry, David. They like, shit. And she's spooning and everything. They doing all that stuff. And I'm like, what is going on here? This better be a dream because it ain't making no damn sense right now. And she was like, you know, he said, I'm sorry for I shouldn't have hit you. And she's like, I'm sorry for all I did to you. I'm so sorry, you know, hold me. And they hold it. And then he whispers in her ear, did I ever tell you I always had I was at, what did he say, in love with Hannah or something, or had a crush on Hannah? I was like, what? He said that I was in love with Hannah. And her face when she woke up out of that dream, I'm not sure if it was one of pain or something, but there was a smirk, like a smile and a smirk, but then she squeezed, looked like a pillow heart or something. So I think it might have been a sadness too. We'll find out going forward, that's for sure. Then Benny goes back home. He and, you know, Candace are talking. They talking and everything. And they talking about life, what they're gonna do. She tell him I'm going to Atlanta. He told him I'm buying a house in his name. Blah blah blah. They leave out of Hannah's house and they run into Derek. And Derek is like, you know, Benny, tough guy. What the hell you doing here? And he's like, I'm coming to see your mother. And he's like, nah, my mother ain't here. And she said, obviously you want to see me too, or something like that, Candace said. And Benny's like, what you talking about? Why he won't come see you? What you know, what's that all about? And he said, well, you know, we're gonna talk. And she said, Benny, give us a minute. And Benny's like, nah, I'm not going. She said, give us a minute, Benny. And Benny said, okay, I'm giving you 5. She told Derek I'll give him 3. Derek ran down his story. He was a teenager. He was young. He was stupid. He felt bad. He was all of the violence were going. And he said, is there anything you want to say to me? And she said, yeah. She said, bye, goodbye, deuces, peace out, whatever. And she walked across the street and left. I mean, why she want to get to know the man who raped her mama and have a relationship with him? I don't think I would wanted to do that. I don't know. Maybe one of y'all would have. Put it down in the comment section. If somebody feels differently, put it down there. You know, because I don't see it. You know. And then Candace go over there to Benny, and Benny want to know what that was all about. But, you know, Candace, she brushed it off and said, just take me to the airport, wherever they were going. So Wyatt, now, they show Wyatt looking for drugs. This fool done drove into the hood again, where he got his car and stuff stolen before by them people. And now he got this guy trying to give him jewelry. Dude's like, what I look like, a pawn shop? You know, I ain't taking no jewelry, it's cash. Da, 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 da. He said, come on, you got some heroin? Come on. And he keeps reaching out the car door, grabbing the guy's arm. The guy said, look, you want to do some jewelry, you have to look at, who did he say? Oh, the only place doing jewelry is the Iron Bone. And he knows the Iron Bone, of course. Where's the iron bone? That's where the Malones are. So he goes, he's like, nah, I can't go there. He said, come on, give me some. And he keep reaching out there trying to snatch him. He said, yo, get such and such. So this female comes over there. The female comes over there, and she gonna give him drugs and stuff. And she said, what you got? He said, I got jewelry. She said, here, give it to me. Give me the ring. I said, I was confused. I said, did she give him the drugs before he showed her the jewelry? And then he didn't even pull out that big necklace like he had for the other guys. He pulled out this little ring. And I said, he could have easily drove off because you could see he Jones, and they could see that he was Jones and he had it bad. They don't want to have nothing to do with it. Then he trying to wrap the thing around, do it. She's like, you can't do that around here. Get the hell out of here. They trying to get him to drive off. I mean, Wyatt is a hot mess. He gonna get into so much more trouble. It's terrible. So, anyway, but then here Wyatt goes, he moves over, has the girl drive his car while he does the drugs and stuff. And the next thing we know, he's walking into the iron horse. And I'm sitting there going, Bone, I'm sorry. And I'm sitting there going, how is he doing that? What happened to the car? Did the girl drop him off and leave him there? Or did she go back home and he was driving again, intoxicated or high? I was like, what the freak happened? All of this we got to figure out what happened. But not for nothing with his drug problem, I ain't gonna lie. I still had that unanswered stuff about Amanda. Because remember, that DA thought it was murder. And not for nothing, all this time I thought it would come out one day that Wyatt did it, but because he got the issues. And he probably was jealous of her because he feel like they loved the sister more. But I don't know. But they never mentioned her again, and that's what I always thought. Anyway, that is my review. Oh, no. I forgot. So he walks into the iron bone, and who sees him but Vinny and Sandy. So they see him, and it's like, you gotta be kidding. They were just talking about this dude, and it was like a gift horse, they call it. He just walked right in as a gift. So they got him now, and he had this jewelry. He's sitting at the bar with this jewelry, probably trying to pawn it again and take it to get some more drugs. That boy, I'm sorry. Y'all can put it in the comment, but sometimes you wish that one was gone and the crazy Amanda stayed. I hate to say it, but those poor criers, that's what happens sometimes when you got all that money. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Put in the comment section. Let's have some conversation. Next week they're showing that Vinny is trying to get Sandy to kill Wyatt. I guess that's his new initiation or something he's doing. And then you see Hannah is asking David if he think his mother's proud of him. So obviously David done stepped to Hannah again with some inappropriateness or something. So I see you back in a week. This is your girl Barbie J checking out. Peace.